Hi, my name is Nancy Walker. I have been a total vegetarian now for over 7 years, and I'm going to be presenting a dish called Southern Fried Tofu because my style of cooking is one which is anyone can make and everyone can enjoy, and it's healthy and good for you as well. One of the reasons why I picked Southern Fried Tofu to do is because most people, when they think of healthy eating and vegetarian eating, what they immediately go to is tofu. And we've all probably had terrible experiences with tofu in the past. I certainly did when I started, so I want to give people the tools they need to do it right the first time. So the first thing we have to know about tofu is it will take on a lot of different tastes and textures. And when you change you can completely change the texture of tofu by freezing it and then defrosting it, and that's what we've done here. And when you're eating vegetarian style, texture is as important as taste. Now, when you freeze and defrost the tofu, what's going to happen is it's going to change the texture. And as you can tell, all I'm going to do here is just squish the tofu, and you can see just a ton of water. My husband laughs at my technical term, squish. I guess press might be a better term for it. But you can just take it between your hands and just squeeze it firmly with the palm of your hand so that it doesn't fall apart. And you're just going to go ahead and squish all of the water out of it. All right, I'm going to quickly cube up the tofu that I have frozen and defrosted. The texture, again, is very different. It's going to be very meat-like. You just take a knife and quickly cut through. Depending on the type of people you have in your family, whether they're small or big, you might want to make these cubes bigger or smaller. And all I'm going to do is just cube it up. And then we're going to get ready to put it in a bag and shake it with some flour. All right, now I've cubed my tofu, and all I'm going to do is put in a half a cup of flour, any all-purpose flour, some thyme, some paprika, and a quick twist or two of my pepper. I hate measuring things. Most people don't have time to measure things. Shake it up to mix all the spices. Take my cube. This is frozen and defrosted tofu once again. Put it in my bag, and I'm going to shake it up to coat the tofu. Shaking the tofu to firmly coat it all over. Now I have my electric skillet hot. I'm going to add some canola oil. You have to be careful of your types of oil so you don't get anything that goes rancid. I'm going to spread it around. I'm going to quickly go ahead and dump in my tofu, and I'm going to quickly brown the tofu. Again, tofu you can eat raw, so it doesn't matter if it's cooked or not. It's a matter of just enjoying it raw. All I'm going to do is just let it saute here in the oil for a little bit and turn it. You can see that the tofu is lightly browning all over. Now, if I'm using my electric skillet, oftentimes I'll just pick it up and give it a quick shake. Not a very scientific way of doing it, but it keeps it nice. And sometimes I'll even let my kids flip and turn this over in the container for me. Okay, you can see it's getting to be a nice golden brown, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the electric skillet. All right, now I've removed my tofu from the pan, and I'm ready to go with the next step, and that is to make the sauce, the nice gravy that's going to go on top. I'm going to add 2 cups of water to it. I'm going to add chopped up onion and garlic. Now, you know when I do this at home, I never really put these in containers. So, a stalk of celery and a stalk of carrot. A stalk of carrots. Oh, well, it's a carrot, not a stalk of carrot. And all I'm going to do is leave this on high. Now, I'm using an electric skillet. There's no reason to use an electric skillet. It's just convenience for me tonight. All right, and just have to let that cook for a little while to soften down, about 20 minutes. While the celery and onion and water and the carrot are sauteing and getting nice and soft, we're going to go ahead and make a little mixture, which I did in advance. This is just 1/3 of a cup of cold water, a tablespoon of soy sauce or tamari. It also has a tablespoon of a beef-style broth in it. Now, I'm a vegetarian, total vegan, so it has no animal products in it. And all I've done is and 3 tablespoons of a quick-cooking flour. And this is going to be the base for our gravy, which is going to go over our southern fried tofu. And all I've done is just stirred it together so it's nice, no lumps, and it's ready to go in as soon as my onion's done. When you're cooking vegetarian or total vegetarian style, the one thing you really need to remember is you need to remember texture as well as taste. Oftentimes we might get the taste right, but if the texture's not there, it's not going to fly with the family. When you make the decision to cook a vegetarian style meal, the first thing you're probably going to reach for is tofu. And that can be a wonderful thing to reach for if you are educated in what you need to do with it. The first time I reached for tofu, it was a horrible experience, and since then I've learned. And again, the one thing you want to be careful of is texture, and tofu is a wonderful product to work with if you get the texture right. You need soft tofu for creamy items. You need firm tofu for things that don't want to cream, and if you really want the texture of an animal type product or a beef, what you really want to do is freeze the tofu, then thoroughly defrost it, and it gives it a nice, spongy, very good, kind of a meaty texture. We're about halfway through our cooking time for our celery, carrots, and onions, so I'm just going to lift the lid and check on the items, see how they're doing, give them a quick stir. Now, if I'm really busy in the kitchen, I don't take the time to do this. But since tonight I have some time, my kids are asleep, we'll give it a shot. All right, things are looking real good. They're not quite tender, so I'm going to put the lid back on and let them go for a little bit. It's been about 20 minutes. The vegetables should be nice and tender, so we're going to go ahead and take the lid off. Ooh, they smell really good. They look really good. Now, with my children, sometimes they'll like some vegetables more than others. Either I dice them really small if they don't like them so they can't pick them out, or I hide them. And the whole point with recipes is to make them yours. You want to go ahead and be able to feel like you can vary the ingredients. All right, everything is nice and ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and add this gravy mixture into it. And just keep it stirring. And what should happen with the quick cooking flour is it should thicken really, really quick, which it has. And all I'm going to do now is just take my tofu that we already browned and add that in. And mix it all up to cover that tofu with this wonderful brown gravy, and then we're all set to serve. I placed the southern fried tofu into a nice serving dish, and we're ready to serve it up to the family. And if it's my son's favorite thing, it goes on mashed potatoes. If it's my daughter's favorite thing, it goes on brown rice. But however we serve it, we absolutely love it. It's one of our favorites. This is Nancy Walker again with another edition of Wisdom from the Kitchen. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned quite a bit, and I hope you like your southern fried tofu as much as we do.